Now let's talk about Florida Atlantic. Again, not too much from Willie Taggart in this one. He was a little reserved on this call, and it was I think maybe it was kind of later in the day too. That might be the thing. Just me again looking at the schedule. I think they get 8 wins. Just scanning it. I think they lose to Florida. It was Georgia Southern, right? They lose there, but I think they beat Air Force. I think they beat FIU. Probably lose on the road to UAB in a big game, but it's cross division. I just see a lot of wins. I even have them losing to Marshall, but I think they can go 8-4 in this season, and that's not including the possible conference championship appearance. Um, they have some transfers in. Um, I like what they have. It's pretty much their whole defense was like 10 out of 11 guys are returning. They were really good defensively. I like what they're bringing. Um, Offensively, that's where they struggle. And the idea is to bring in. It's basically everybody doing the same thing, right? Let's bring in a transfer. They're going to change, our fortunes, and that's going to be the deal. What is it? Michael Johnson Jr. and I think they have another guy, and I can't remember his name, and I wrote it down somewhere. But what is it? 13th in scoring in the conference, 12th in passing, 10th overall. They were good running the ball. They were solid, very solid defensively. And I think that goes a long way. That's why they were in it late in the season. It's why they had a chance. But their offense was why they also didn't, really compete, really get, uh, you know, I said seriously compete for the conference title, right? Because they're in there, they're competitive. If you look at the numbers, but I don't think anybody was looking at Florida Atlantic saying, yes, this team is the best in the East. Um, so I like them. I like them a lot. I think they're like the sort of an opposite. Them in Western Kentucky, sort of an opposite of like North Texas, where they're just so unbalanced, right? One side of the ball is very good, other side of the ball not so good. Now, defensively, some of your numbers, especially these like total numbers, like yards per game, well, those are rates, but they're not like per play rates. I think some of those are skewed, especially if your offense is terrible, right? Then you you don't get a whole lot of snaps, and you're just like, well, and the other team's like, well, I'm just gonna run the ball. We don't have to do anything here. Um, what am I trying to say? That was confusing. I admit. Basically, what I'm saying is that if your offense is terrible and you're not having a whole lot of plays out there, you know, then your defense can look a little bit better than it maybe is, right? Maybe giving up short fields and like so. They didn't have to drive very far to score, especially throwing interceptions, turning the ball over. But I like Florida Atlantic a lot. A lot of talent. There's always talent in Florida. One thing that Lane Kiffin did was just get a very talented team that everybody agreed was talented, and then have them execute, make them do amazing things. Lane Kiffin was known for his game plan and that kind of stuff. Willie Taggart has been known for recruiting and is like was it Gulf Coast offense kind of deal. Um, you know, he's a good offensive mind. He hasn't really shown that in his stops in Oregon and even at Florida State. But I think this is more speed. I mean, when he was at Western Kentucky, they were offensively powerful, not as powerful as like some later coaches, but he's known for his offensive mind. I expect to see some of that happening here. They got what Michael Johnson Sr. being the thing. It was one of those kind of nepotism kind of things. Like, yeah, your dad, he'll be the offensive coordinator, and the son, sure, we'll take it, or vice versa. Long story short, I like FAU. They're talented. Said that already, and they're good defensively. I think it's not really. Is it a sexy pick? No, it's not. Florida Atlantic again. Florida Atlantic, who they got? You're kind of thinking about who's the face of that squad. But they're good. I like them. I like where they're going. I think Willie Taggart's going to have a great season this year. He said, kind of going in, he's like, I feel like I understand this team now, something he didn't before. All right. Third, and after talking to Helton, I want to call him Henson all the time. After talking to Helton, Tyson Helton, jeez. Um, I don't know. I came away a little bit more convinced of West Kentucky when I first interviewed him. Right in his first season, He was saying, was it because it's 2 years now at the school, right? A couple years ago, he was saying, look, honestly, we're not that talented, but can I go to my players and be like, look, y'all not so great, and I have low expectations for y'all. No, I can't. So I'm not going to coach that way. And you know, I think he kind of acknowledged that they got a lot of transfers in this season. He has done a great job in the 2 seasons there. The previous head coach, you know, he may have had some great offensive ideas, but they didn't really translate. They couldn't protect the quarterback and they couldn't run the ball. I think what uh, Helton has done is been able to run the ball, sort of, right? I mean, look at last year, they 11th in the conference, not very good, but they tried to. I think what's been most amazing is how great they've been defensively. They're just really stout. I think they're like fifth in the conference, but a lot of that was just because they were trying to score because their offense really couldn't. And you just kind of feel the press, and they're on the field a lot. Um, so what do? I think this is just the most excellent decision. Like of all the assistant hires, this is the game changer. I think in my mind. Helton went out and got Zach Kitley from Houston Baptist, and he said, he has a lot of Texas ties. He's like he's a coach at Houston. Blah blah blah, this that and the other. And he knew what he was doing at Houston Baptist. And if you don't know, that Houston Baptist team like put up like 500-600 yards on North Texas to open the season, and then another 500 yards on Texas Tech, and the next game, and then a bunch of yards in their last two games. Right? They only play like four. So that quarterback who was balling out transferred with his offensive coordinator, and Helton said it was all kind of organic, right? He just got the coach, and then it just so happened these guys came over. But Bailey Zappi, senior, he transferred over. Also did Josh Stearns and his brother Jareth Stearns, two guys that caught a lot of passes from Zappi at Houston Baptist. And I mean, they threw the ball all over the place, and that was kind of the only option for that squad. They were just like, look, we're just going to chuck it. We're just going to keep going. Um, Helton said we're gonna marry some of those concepts, right? He likes Kitley saying, "Hey, look, we can throw it all day. We throw for 600 yards, or we can run it every down. But we're gonna attack the defense with this kind of philosophy." And he said they married those two. Helton likes the run game that they had, some of the run schemes, some of the protections. So he said he's gonna be involved in those things, but along with the calls and like the scheme that Kitley's bringing. And Kitley's going to call the plays. Helton said, "Yeah, I'm used to calling a lot of plays, used to kind of doing these things. I'm taking a step back, putting on a different hat. That's the role of a head coach." Hold on, I'm getting a text message from my kid. Um, so I like that. They've had such a good defense, and I felt like, man, if they could only just complete a pass sometimes, right? Pigrome, he didn't do so great. I don't think he made the offense be what they wanted him. Uh, Made the offense be what they expected him to make the change to be, right? And I don't know, like, was he misused? I don't know, but I can't. I didn't watch enough Western Kentucky games that closely to say yes, it was this or this other thing. But the information I get is that it doesn't matter. These guys, Zappy has taken full command of the offense. They're going to be exciting. I think they're going to score a lot of points. I think they're going to be dangerous. A little bit of that Western Kentucky of old, right? The championship season was at 14, 15. And I mean, I'm looking at Western Kentucky's schedule again, sketching it out. I could see 8-4, and really depending on how well they mesh, that offense with the defense, and just because maybe they're getting a lot of plays, maybe they're scoring more often, and so the defense can be on the field more often, and they're a little bit tired. They're gonna give them more points, right? Like I was saying earlier, maybe something like that happens. I don't know. I still think that they're gonna have the firepower to make up some deficits that they maybe didn't. Maybe they otherwise did. I mean, you look last year, right? That Louisville game, they lose by 2 touchdowns in a down season for Louisville, right? That's one where maybe you feel like, man, if we just had a little bit more firepower, maybe we win that game. Um, you lose by a touchdown to Liberty. You barely squeaked by Middle Tennessee, which I don't know, basically didn't have an offense at some points in time. A lot of those things could change, could have changed. I mean, also that Florida Atlantic game was at 6-10. Come on, right? So, yes, FAU had a good defense, but Western Kentucky had almost no offense at that point, right? I like Western Kentucky a ton. I like what Helton was saying. I mean, it's going to be a little bit different from him because he's not calling the plays. I wonder if I could foresee a situation where they're maybe struggling and he's like, all right, I'm going to call the plays again. But it seems like he's going to delegate a little bit more, kind of get involved in certain areas, less, just kind of be an overall kind of guy. That's a strategy that some guys have taken and had a lot of success in. It's also one they regretted, right? It really depends. But I think you look at the rankings, right? 11, 12, 12, 11, in the hundreds nationally and all the offensive categories. It's kind of hard to say, yeah, no, 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 I'm gonna keep doing calling the plays. That's maybe not the best plan. All right, what am I looking at? I need to bookmark this page. So I have my notes here, but I keep flipping back and forth, and so then I have to go find it. It's really not very efficient, guys. All right, let's talk